The Big Ten as wide open as it has been in many years. And Ohio State, Illinois Sunday on CBS will go a long way in determining which one of these 5 teams at the top will come out on top when the season is all said and done. Hey, how are you folks? Jason Horowitz, glad to be with you here on CBSSports.com. Welcome to the College Basketball Preview Show, brought to you by the California Almond Board as we bring in CBS College Sports Network Steve Lappas to break it down. And Steve, you know, Ohio State, Illinois, with the wins that they're starting to pile up, both these teams right there at the top of the conference. But where do you put these two teams with Michigan State, Purdue, and Wisconsin in terms of how good they are in the Big Ten?
Well, I think right now you have a very balanced league in the Big Ten. And the one thing I did question about Illinois earlier in the year is, do they have a great player? Well, I think they've proven that they do have a great player in the Big Ten in McCamey. And they're also an excellent defensive team. And that win against Wisconsin at Wisconsin, that is as hard a win as you could possibly get in that league. So you have to feel like they're going to be right there. And we know Ohio State, the talent, Evan Turner, one of the best players, certainly one of the best all-around players in the country. So I think right now you have a great game plan. Yeah,
and it's, you know, interesting, too, about Illinois because before that win last Saturday at home against Michigan State, you're talking about 7-3 in conference, and those 6 wins, 6 of those 7 conference wins were against the 3 worst teams in the Big Ten. Now all of a sudden you beat Michigan State and at Wisconsin. You're starting to roll. As a former coach, Steve, how much confidence does that give this team for the rest of the season?
No, I think it goes a long way. Anytime you win a game on the road against a really good team in particular, that can really snowball into something. And so right now you got to feel like, you know, that Bruce Weber is telling his kids that they just won one of the toughest games in that league, and that, wow, we can go out there and we could play with anybody, and they got to be starting to believe that.
When you mentioned Dimitri McCamey as one of those players that they've got that go-to guy. Should he be mentioned with Evan Turner as Big Ten Player of the Year?
Well, I don't know. You know, he certainly is one of the top 5 players in the Big Ten, without a doubt. I mean, his productivity has gone up so much in the league. He was like 15.5, 15.7 in overall games, and he's averaging over 17 a game in the conference, 50% from 2, when you're 39% three-point shooter. So this guy is really, really playing well. And when you got a kind of role like that, that really helps.
And it also helps the rest of your team when he gets a career-high tying 11 assists in a big game like last Saturday at home against Michigan State. Meanwhile, for Ohio State, we know about Evan Turner. He's going to be the focal point anytime you watch Ohio State or you go against Ohio State. But talk about William Buford and his contribution and how big that has been for the Buckeyes of late.
Well, that's been very big. You know, when you can add a couple of other guys besides the great player like Evan Turner, it's going to make a significant difference. And it probably helped when Evan Turner was out for those games when he broke his back, for other guys like Buford to have an opportunity to step up.
And he had a huge game in their win at Indiana this past week, 21 points. Big game Sunday on CBS, 1 p.m. Eastern, Steve. It's at Assembly Hall. Does that play the deciding factor? You taking Illinois?
You know, I'm going to take Illinois in the game. I think that Ohio State obviously is very good. Illinois really needs this game if they're going to stay on this roll and really get in the NCAA tournament.
All right, we'll see what actually happens on CBS on Sunday. Steve Lappas, thank you very much, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much.
All right, folks, for more on this game, keep it right here with CBSSports.com. And don't forget the College Basketball Preview Show brought to you by the California Almond Board. Become a pro snacker this season with a handful of California almonds. For Steve Lappas, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.